from Kim, and she can fuck all night.
Hey, how's it going? It's your boy Cheese Fries Bolts here, and this is one of those very rare videos where I have to break up and sort of divide the viewers of this channel because my Kansas City Chiefs have come to my hometown, Tampa, Florida, and they defeat the Buccaneers. And giant Lightning fan here, giant Rays fan. To all my Bucks fans who are with me on baseball and hockey, I am so sorry I have to do this. And I've been having to do this quite frequently. So, for the third time in the last 2 years, the Chiefs play the Buccaneers, which is extremely rare. Very unlikely that it ever happens again. Anyways, with this one, the Kansas City Chiefs completely embarrassed by last week's shit show of a performance against the Indianapolis Colts, come out firing on all cylinders in Tampa. You know this game was personal for the Chiefs. This game was personal for Mahomes. This game was personal for Andy Reid. This game was personal for everybody, including the O-line. And the O-line is almost entirely different than what it was in the Super Bowl just 2 years ago. And this game was personal for this Chiefs O-line because of some public comments Shaq Barrett made earlier in the week when he was asked about how different the Chiefs O-line is now than from what it was in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. He said, "I really don't think it's too much of a difference. I think we have a lot of favorable matchups. I think we really have an opportunity to dominate the game. We can really have a coming out party." Those were the comments of Shaq Barrett, and you know the Chiefs took that to heart. Patrick Mahomes, even in the post-game interview, subtly attacked the comments by saying, "Oh, there was some talk earlier in the week." We know what he was talking about. Shaq Barrett's comments about the O-line, and it's relieving because so much of this game was fueled by personal desire from Chiefs players here. I feel like that they haven't forgotten that Super Bowl. They're still pissed off about it. So, for the first play of the game, it's the kickoff from new kicker because Matt Amendola got cut the day after the Indianapolis game, rightfully so. Arguably the reason the Chiefs aren't 4-0 right now, I think so. But new guy, Matthew Wright, in for the Chiefs kicking now, while Harrison Butker remains on the injured list. He kicks off to Rachaad White in the end zone, and White takes it out to the Tampa Bay 23, but not before fumbling it on the first play of the game, the kickoff, and it is recovered by Elijah Lee for the Kansas City Chiefs. You don't know who that is, do you? Well, let me tell you. This week alone, Elijah Lee was cut by the Chiefs, re-signed to the practice squad, then activated, and then recovered that fumble on the opening kickoff. What a story for Elijah Lee to start off this game for the Kansas City Chiefs. And it wouldn't take long for the Chiefs to get on the board. Clyde Edwards-Helaire goes up the middle for a 5-yard gain to the 16 of Tampa Bay. And then Patrick Mahomes finds Travis Kelce for the 16-yard touchdown pass. Kelce just leaps over the Bucs defender and finds his way into the end zone. And in 46 seconds of game clock, the Chiefs score more touchdowns than they did the entire Super Bowl. Not even a minute by, the Chiefs are up 7-0. The Bucs get the ball back. Brady gets the ball back. A highly anticipated matchup. It's Brady versus Mahomes for the sixth all-time matchup. Brady gets the ball, and he's able to lead the Bucs down for a 45-yard field goal kick from Ryan Suckup. It is 7-3 Kansas City. The Chiefs get the ball back, and like I said, this was a little bit of a personal game for them. 12 plays, 6-minute drive. So this one was interesting because what happened was Mahomes did not take the snap here. This snap would go to Jerick McKinnon, and McKinnon hands it off to Clyde Edwards-Helaire for the 3-yard rushing touchdown. Bag of tricks here, Andy Reid. Matt Wright makes the extra point. Amazing that the Chiefs have a kicker other than Butker who can make field goals and extra points. 14-3 Kansas City in the first quarter. The Bucs get the ball back, and the Chiefs defense forces a 3-and-out on the Bucs. So the Chiefs get the ball right back, and would you know it, 11 plays, nearly 6 minutes down the clock again, and another touchdown. And this one was just vintage Patrick fucking Mahomes doing this little, I'm going to avoid this sack here, do a little hop, go around, do a little spin move, and somehow flick it off the side of my wrist, find Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the back. You can't defend this. You can't teach quarterbacks this stuff. This is just insane natural talent from Patrick Mahomes, and it's classic Mahomes. You cannot defend these kind of plays. In Mahomes, you have to imagine he was motivated, he was hungry to just put on a goddamn clinic this game after what he had to go through in the Super Bowl. I mean, do I have to remind people, he scrambled for 500 yards in that game. Scrambled for 500 yards, just running out of the pocket, trying to avoid getting sacked the entire time because the Chiefs did not have an O-line. So you damn well know that this was personal for Mahomes. I'm going to keep saying it because it's true. The Chiefs up early, 21-3, putting on a clinic, like I said. The Bucs get the ball back. They run 6 plays, and they get downfield pretty quickly. It's a Mike Evans touchdown from Tom Brady, and I gotta say, watching this up close and in person, Mike Evans is elite. There is no other way to put it. He is very, very hard to defend as a receiver, so gotta give credit where credit is due there. It's 21-10 Kansas City. Here we go. The Chiefs get the ball back. They run 8 plays, 3 minutes, 41 seconds. They go for it on 4th and 1, and Mahomes finds a wide open Clyde Edwards-Helaire for a sure first down, except, well, no. He bobbled it and dropped it. Are you kidding me? Extremely frustrating. Edwards-Helaire, CEH, I've been impressed with his growth as a running back so far this year, but you have to make these plays 10 times out of 10. Thankfully, the very next play, Tom Brady gets sacked by L'Jarius Sneed and fumbles the football, and Chris Jones is there to recover it at the Tampa Bay 20. So the Chiefs right back, right where they left off, and they are already in the red zone. So the Chiefs end up getting a touchdown here, but this is very, very interesting what happened here, because it totally caught the Bucs defense off guard. What happened was Mahomes in shotgun was pointing over to Travis Kelce, and before you know it, here comes Noah Gray in motion. He takes the snap and barrels his way through on his own for the touchdown. Totally caught the Bucs off guard here. Weren't expecting it. This is just pure Andy Reid play calling. This is classic Andy Reid. He loves these plays. This was the Blake Bell play originally a couple of years ago, but Noah Gray gets it this time. Just amazing. Absolutely amazing here. It is 28-10 Kansas City, and it's not even halftime. They've already scored more points than they did the last regular season game, 2020. That final score was 27-24. And here we are, it's not even halftime, you have 28 points up on what was the number 1 defense in the NFL coming into this game. The Bucs defense had only given up an average 9 points per game, the lowest in the NFL. And here we are at halftime with 28 points. The Bucs get the ball back, and they would, in 2 minutes, do this little 2-minute drill. They would kind of force their way downfield and keep making these short plays, and it worked. It worked, and that's the one thing that's Tom Brady's strength. That's why he's been so successful his whole career. Is he's so accurate with ball placement. People can say what they want about, oh, well, they're all short passes, rarely goes to the deep bomb. Doesn't matter. When you're 45 and you're playing at this high of a level still, you're still making all these very highly accurate passes. There's a reason people call him the GOAT. And that's why, 2-minute drill here, Brady's going to find a way to get downfield. So they get the touchdown. It's 28-17, and we go to halftime. Now we start off the second half, and the Chiefs receive the ball first, of course, and they would eventually, on this drive, settle for a Matthew Wright 44-yard field goal. Again, amazing. The Chiefs are able to find a kicker not named Harrison Butker who can nail a field goal. That is incredible. It's very, very inspiring, actually. So the Chiefs are now up 31-17 in the third quarter. The Bucs get the ball back, and they're held to a punt. The defense holds them. The Chiefs get the ball back, and the Chiefs ruthlessly go downfield and score yet another touchdown. This is a 10-yard pass to Jody Fortson from Patrick Mahomes to make the game 38-17. All right, so the Bucs get the ball back. They find themselves down 38-17 in the third quarter with 5 minutes in the third quarter to go. The Bucs received the ball back and they would kill a little clock. 5 minutes, in fact. They would go 75 yards downfield, but not before this ridiculous, unnecessary roughness call from Bill Vinovich's crew. And Bill Vinovich's crew is my favorite of the referees in the National Football League because of the amount of flags they throw is very minimal. They don't like throwing flags. They like to let the football players play football, and I respect that a lot, and that's why I like this crew. But there were just some really, really lopsided calls in this game. Obviously, nothing that would affect the Chiefs that much because the Chiefs dominated pretty much from start to finish. But, there were those calls that were just like, are you serious? We're going to call those, but not these other ones here. We're going to do this one-sided thing, this let's suck off Tom Brady bullshit. That's what we're going to do here. Anyways, so what happens here is Brady goes for Mike Evans in the end zone, and Evans misses. It's an accurate pass. Evans just misses it, but Thornhill just lays this just brutal shoulder hit, but that's what you're supposed to do. The intent is to knock the football out of his hands in the instance in which he catches the football. You want to avoid that touchdown. So what happens? We get called for unnecessary roughness on a football play. Just absolutely ridiculous. And they get half the distance to the goal at the 2-yard line. They were at the 4 when the penalty happened. So you get first and goal at the 2. They're gonna run it in. And so that's exactly what happened. Rachaad White would get the 1-yard rush. The PAT is good. It's 38-24. The Chiefs were not done. They get the ball back. After killing 5 minutes off the clock, they get a 32-yard field goal for Matthew Wright. And at this point, it's just not out of reach, but very close to out of reach for the Bucs. And this was the point in the game. We had 10 minutes left in the fourth where half the stands started clearing. Bucs fans started going home because it wasn't fun for them. Mahomes was dominant. The Chiefs all around were dominant. Unlike last week's shit show performance against the Colts for whatever reason. Football's such a weird sport, dude. You lose to the Colts one week and then you go and dominate the Buccaneers and Tom Brady the next week. It's damn weird. But the Bucs get the ball. 5 plays ran and they settle for punting. They have to punt. And the Chiefs get the ball back and now Mahomes is kind of in this I don't know what happened here, so I'm just making an assumption. It just kind of seemed like Mahomes was getting a little too careless with it at this point because of how big the lead was, and so he tries to find Juju Smith-Schuster on this deep pass, and it seems like he doesn't really run routes properly a lot of the time, so it's hard to say what happened here, if it was on Mahomes or if it was on Juju. Hard to say, but this pass was picked off, and the Bucs did turn that into a touchdown a minute later. It's a Leonard Fournette pass from Tom Brady, 5 yards, and it's a 10-point game all of a sudden with 3 minutes left in the game. The Bucs still have all 3 timeouts, and I'm not going to lie, I'm sweating a little bit because when you're a Chiefs fan, you learn that no lead is safe. The Chiefs get the ball back, and after killing 2 minutes and 45 seconds, for the first time in this game with 52 seconds left in the game, the Chiefs punt the football. The Chiefs' one and only punt in this game came with 52 seconds left in it. And Tommy Townsend boots one to the 21 of Tampa Bay, and the Bucs only have 45 seconds to go downfield, and they aren't able to come up with anything. Final play was just a short pass, and they conceded at that point. So with that, the Chiefs, with an absolute dominant statement win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A lot of demons were exercised in this game for these players and for fans as well. I know fans like myself were still a little salty over the Super Bowl. That game sucked for 2 reasons. The main reason was that the Chiefs' O-line was non-existent, battered and bruised to bits and pieces, straight out of hell. You were given no chance from the very beginning. And then on top of that, the plays that Mahomes did make where he was finding his receivers deep and in the end zones, the receivers couldn't catch the goddamn football. So if the Chiefs had a healthy O-line in that game, it's still very hard to say whether or not it still would have been a close game for the Chiefs because of the fact that the receivers could not catch the fucking ball to save their lives. It was the most infuriating game I've ever watched, because you see a guy like Patrick Mahomes fighting his way, escaping death for 60 game minutes, just scrambling 500 yards and trying to fight his own O-line, not protecting him at all. And so, I'd like to imagine the O-line was obviously a lot better, and I'd like to think at least that Shaq Barrett learned that in the game, that this wasn't the same O-line, and that they got pretty fucking lucky in the Super Bowl to have to go up against whatever the hell of an excuse that was. Anyways, a total vengeance game for the Chiefs. Mahomes feels good about this. All-time record now between Mahomes and Brady is 3-3. Now, while the Brady fans will say, oh, well, Brady won the only 2 games that mattered, the AFC Championship in 2018 and the Super Bowl in 2020, let me remind you, or inform you if you're unaware, that in 5 of those 6 games, Brady had the home field advantage. The Chiefs have only played 1 of those games at Arrowhead Stadium. It was Mahomes' first year as a starter. Every Chiefs fan on this planet knows for a fact, if not for Dee Ford lining off 2 inches offside, the Chiefs would have won that game, and Patrick Mahomes would have found himself playing in the Super Bowl in his first year as a starter. We all know that as a fact. We don't even consider it as a what if. We just know it to be the truth. Anyways, with that being said, the Chiefs, they look phenomenal in this game. They looked absolutely phenomenal. Team-wide, the defense got a little lazy when the team took a big lead, but that's just classic Chiefs defense, playing that prevent once you go up in the game, right? That just seems to be the theme there with the Chiefs. But regardless, an absolute statement win for the Chiefs. They will play the Las Vegas Raiders next. Hello, Casey. That should be a fun one. And this was just an overall fantastic win for the Chiefs. Fantastic win to witness for us Chiefs fans. Also, another fact is that the Chiefs scored 41 points in this game. This is the first time the Bucs have given up that many points since Jameis Winston was their quarterback. So it's been a long time since this Bucs defense, dominant Bucs defense at that, had given up that many points. So if you think Mahomes didn't take it personally, you're wrong, because he put on a goddamn clinic in this game. With that being said, I'm going to get out of here. Again, sorry to my Buccaneers fans of this channel. Not going to happen again for a long time. That was likely the last ever Brady-Mahomes matchup, unless, of course, they meet in the Super Bowl in Arizona in February, which I can see happening. I think if the Chiefs play like how they did against the Bucs in this game, and they still have a healthy team come January, I am confident that we have a good chance of going somewhere. Even though this is technically a rebuild year for us, we're relying on a bunch of rookies. Our number 1 receivers are Juju Smith-Schuster, Sky Moore, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, and McCole Hardman. With that, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for watching. Go Chiefs, baby. Peace out.
And that's about the time she walked away from me.